morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, I'm Cyclo. It's time for our Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I lied. Sunday Shadow is the third one we're doing. I said at the end of the last era that might be the one we're doing this time. No, Guildford-Bound is the one we're doing this time. I was thinking of the one that was, I believe, 6 stops on it, and this is the one that is 6 stops on. So this is the one we're doing. I just had the wrong title. It happens. So work a late afternoon stopping service from Hazlemere to Guildford on a cold December day. Traffic is flowing steady, so you should have a clear run back to Guildford. Excellent. Good luck. Okay, yeah, whatever. Let's get started. Afternoon, driver. Pick up here, like that, and then depart when clear to Guildford. You are to stop at every station en route. Good luck. Why do I need luck? It's a standard scenario. Just, let's go. That is up. That is up. That is done, and we're just going to wait for boarding to complete. So let's look at our train very briefly. Leaving Hazlemere, starting at platform number 3, we have a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. We're going to be entering an 85-mile-per-hour speed limit. We're waiting for this Guildford to Hazlemere train, or watching it rather, to go by. We're not waiting at all. And we're going to continue along our track in the meantime. That 15 has nothing to do with us. That's if you continue straight on into the buffer, which we're not. We're going to be coming into an 85 in a moment, like I think I said already. There it is. So we're going to apply power. So this is an old route. And when I say it's an old route, look at the goals. We have no times. We can basically just do this at our leisure. So we're going to do this at our leisure. That seems logical to me. So this, like I said, this is an old route. If you know West Coast Main Line North, that's route ID number 11. This is route ID number 20, 0000020. There's a lot of routes in between that have not been released. I don't know what's going on with those projects. I assume they were old experiments that were when they had a much larger team. I'm sure Danny and others have routes that they've worked on before, and I don't know if Danny's talked about anything he's done back in the day publicly, so I don't know if it's something I should really talk about. But in any case, I just know that those are old projects. They don't exist. Like, why they exist, but they just weren't released. And the only reason I can say that is because they were used for something. So just in case something ever happened to the project, the number was reserved and kept on that route, but it was never reused. So it's just routes we're never going to see. That's really the best way to put it. Which is perfectly fine because we got a lot of other routes out there. We're up to ID 105 right now, and I think 121 was reserved for Weardale-Seasdale. I think that's 121. So, or something like that. So, kind of funny because it makes it look like a newer route when it isn't. Anyway, we're going downhill at an 85-mile-per-hour speed limit right now. We're on a 1 in 80 downhill gradient. I made a mention of West Coast Main Line North. Yes, I do have plans to eventually get back to West Coast Main Line North. I had recorded all 6 scenarios, a couple of which are really long ones. I'd even recorded a couple of Class 66 Armstrong Powerhouse scenarios that we used minimal stock, and I had all that installed at the time. So naturally, I shouldn't say naturally. The reason I didn't release those scenarios, the Class 66 scenarios at the time, is because I had, excuse me, I had a quality problem. I had a problem with my audio on the computer at the time. Because I didn't like the audio being delayed by a second or 2 seconds every time I tried to record something, what ended up happening was I ended up scrubbing that. Now, rebooting the computer would fix that, but I came to learn that the problem I was having with that was actually something to do with McAfee Web Advisor, something that installed to my Google Chrome without my permission. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. It installed without my permission. and it started causing problems as of November 2020, I believe, somewhere in that range. Might have been 2019, actually. We have to stop, by the way, so let's do that. So because of the web advisor, anytime I had Google Chrome open, it caused problems where my audio started degrading really badly. Here is a Portsmouth Harbor service coming from Woking. So we finally figured that out in 2020, at the early 2022 or somewhere, maybe it was earlier 2021. I don't remember the exact time we figured that out. I want to think it was March or something like that, but I could be wrong. But in any case, we finally figured it out. And then after we figured it out, all of a sudden the computer decided it didn't want to work anymore. So even if I wanted to use the West Coast Mainline North recordings, they're lost. I don't have them anymore. I have to re-record every single scenario, including that painful Kingsmoor Sunset scenario. And if you don't know what the Kingsmoor Sunset scenario is, oh boy, you're in for a massive treat, because that is a scenario that does not work 100% of the time. It does not work. I'm going to have to look at the... I'll talk more about that later, actually. We have to open the doors at Witley right now. So let's look at our train as we board. Leaving Witley, our next stop is Milford. We're estimated to be about 3 minutes away from there. So we're going to get ourselves away at a speed limit of 85 miles per hour once again. Applying full throttle to get up to that speed, as much as we can anyway. We're not going to reach it, obviously. So continuing my story from before the stop there, I was talking about West Coast Mainline North and the Kingsmoor Sunset scenario. That is probably, and I say this in about as credible a way as I can, the most broken scenario in Train Simulator history. There, I said it. It's the most broken scenario in Train Simulator history. When I actually try to play that one for you again, I'm going to actually look at the scenario pathing in the editor to see what it wants me to do, what it expects me to do to accomplish the task. And I'm going to try to follow it to the letter. But even following the path designated, sometimes the tracks will switch against you while you're on them. And when that happens, basically there's nothing you can do. You're basically game over right then and there, even if you're doing the right thing. And that's happened to me in that scenario. Only once I've ever completed it. So, let's just say the outtake video when I go back to that scenario is probably going to be long and glorious. That one scenario will probably need an outtakes video of its own. Look forward to that when I come back to West Coast Mainline, guys. I also still need to do West Coast Mainline over Shap. That particular route has a Windermere extension by a gentleman named Nick Hudson, and we'll talk about him more in the future, but let's just say that he passed away in 2020. And he's a prolific route designer for those who knew him. So he has a lot of projects out there, and I do intend to get to some of those projects as well. But since some of those projects are related to other routes that I still have to drive, for example, North Wales Coastal's route that he did some work on an alternate VR version, I have to play the original North Wales Coastal before I get to his version. So the whole idea is to get to the Windermere extension by going through West Coast Mainline over Shap, which is what it connects to get to Windermere. So we'll talk about him in the future and his projects, but he is a very known, very well-known route designer whose work still is useful to people even almost 2 years after his passing. People are still interested in his routes even 2 years later. I don't blame them. I really am looking forward to playing that Windermere route for you guys, because I have some scenarios that he made for that and scenarios by other people as well. So I really look forward to playing that for you guys, because the 101 is going to show up on there. It's going to be a nice use of the 101. Any excuse to get a 101 is a good one. So arriving around the time I expected, 16:19, we're going to go ahead and stop here. I'm just letting the train slow to a stop on its own without doing anything fancy, because we're coming very nicely to the end of the platform anyway, so I'm okay here. Doors are now going to be open at Milford, platform number 1. don't know if we have a buzzer shortcut there. In any case, departing Milford, our next stop is Godalming, platform number 1. We're now under an 80-mile-per-hour speed limit. I didn't point out the drop in by 5 miles there. I don't even think I noticed the sign when I was talking about West Coast Main Line North. Man, that's going to be a treat to do for you guys, because I'm going to have another scenario with an AI collision I have to fix. And badly, because that's a career scenario. I may try and run it with the AI collision in there just to show you this collision at the end of the scenario, but the proper fix involves basically repairing the scenario and overwriting what is already there. Of course, Steam doesn't like that, so unless DTG ever decides, yeah, it's a good idea to fix that, it's not going to get fixed. I wish we could just submit our own fixes. Say, hey, this will fix the scenario. Get it tested and put it out. But what can you do? So many times I'd love to just say, oh, you know what? I can fix this scenario here. I fixed it. Go give it out to people. Problem is, whenever they put new content out or fixed content, there's probably reasons they can't do that. Quality assurance. I don't know the details, just I'm sure there are reasons. Another train coming by, I didn't see who that was, just like the other one I didn't see. Guildford to Portsmouth and Southsea, they're probably all similar to that, so I'm not going to locate every single one for you. Oh look, the Church of Cuju up ahead. The Church of Cuju is everywhere. We're going to need harder brakes here, so we're going to do that. You can see our upcoming stop at Farncombe coming up as well. I'm going to go ahead and just stop right here. This is good enough. So we're arriving at 1623. I'm just going to round up and say 1623. We can get away with saying it's still 1622, but we'll be honest. Arrival 1623 at Godalming, platform number 1. Leaving Godalming and the Church of Cuju, our next stop is Farncombe, platform number 1. I think they're all platform number 1 until we get to our final stop, actually, which is at Guildford, which is the next stop, actually. And yeah, we're using platform 8 at Guildford. So we have a 60-mile-per-hour speed limit to contend with here. Did I say it was 6 stops? Yeah, it is 6 stops, okay. I guess the first one counts. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a little bit of a recording break after this one. I want to make sure I got the Friday and Saturday videos recorded for you for this particular weekend. I'm going to take another small recording break to see if I can get my cough completely gone, but it may still be here when I pick up recording again. We're going to see how well this goes. So we're going to get these two recorded, and this second scenario recorded. This will be the Saturday scenario. We are going to be well into October at this point, because it's the end of September as I'm doing this. So definitely going to be well into October. I think October 15th or thereabouts is the day this is coming out. Whatever the Saturday is around that. So I'm going to take a few days from now to after this scenario to see if I can deal with my cough. Finally kick COVID's butt completely, and then I'm good to do a lot of recording after that if I'm in good shape. So we're going to see what happens. what I may do is I may record some projects in advance and just make the videos and keep them for when I need to publish something that I'm not ready for something else. So you won't ever know that I'm doing something like that. It's all going to look like it's planned. But I want to get these projects done so I don't have to think about them, and that way I can just go ahead and get them out to you when they're ready and when I feel I need to get those out. That way I have a little bit more flexibility in my recording schedule, in my publishing schedule as well. So here we are at Farncombe platform number 1. One more stop to go at Guildford. We'll go there shortly. Leaving Farncombe, our next and final stop is Guildford, 3.15 miles or so away from here. Railway crossing. And we're now entering an 85 mile per hour speed limit, which is going to govern probably about a couple miles or so of our journey before we start entering some tunnels up ahead. We're going to get dropped to a 60 and eventually to a 25, I believe. Where we're going to eventually get up to a 40 as we come to a stop. There is another train going by. That one's heading to the Fratton Depot. So it must be an empty stock movement. Let's go up to a faster speed if we could. Estimated arrival right now is 16:32 or 4:32 in the afternoon. So I hope you're enjoying the South London line, or South London network coverage I've been doing on those scenarios. We are going to go back to that and look at the newer version of the 455 on there. So that is part of my plans in case you missed that. Go check out the rest of the South London line, or South London network scenarios in the meantime to get ready for that. We are going to have these ones eventually following behind on that playlist. So we're going to have the 455 following behind. That will be a good 10 video strong playlist there. And possibly more as time goes on, because we got several other trains. We got a 378, we have a 415, there's a 419, the 4 big. And I think there's one more as well that I'm forgetting. So we're going to eventually have more over time as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I have my speed limit wrong. It's actually a 75 as we approach the tunnels. We're being warned about that, even though we're not at that speed. It's the AWS ramp, it's programmed. It'll warn you if you're going 10 miles per hour, so there you go. I was right on the 25 and the 40 though. 40 is at the end of the platform, not in the platform itself, apparently. I thought it was in the platform itself. I was also right this about 2 miles or so for the previous speed limit, a little less than that. So nice overhead view. Remember, we have the highways going around over here. One crosses us as we enter the tunnel up ahead. Interestingly enough. There's the tunnel. We are now basically in. Back to the overhead view for a moment as we come out of the tunnel into the next tunnel. There you go. How's that for a view, guys? And now we're going to brake. Heavy braking. Attempting to be legal here. Yeah, we're well legal at this point. We're 8 miles away from our new limit. I mean, that might not have been perfect, but it'll do. 16:32 estimated arrival time. It's definitely not going to be that anymore. It's going to be a minute earlier. Because we're good. We're good, efficient drivers. Here we are cleared to platform number 8. So we're going to see another train leaving right there for Portsmouth Harbor. It is on the move. I don't know if you can tell. This, I believe, is just a non-operational stock next to me. Going to start slowing down a little more because we are now approaching our stop. We are in the platform, so we're obviously approaching our stop. We have a green signal at the end of the platform for some stupid reason. So even though we're cleared for line A, we are basically stopping here. This is the end of our service. So, because, well, that's basically our last stop, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and pick up passengers. Let's look at the train as we finish. Oh, we have a lady interested here in the accident insurance, apparently, that we advertise throughout this route. So, yeah, get your accident insurance, because you only need insurance when you have accidents, apparently. I don't know. Anyway, there is the front of our train, boarding nobody at the moment. Nobody's getting off, no one's getting on. I guess no one's interested in Guildford. Well, that was worthwhile. This service apparently leaves the route before going to Worplesdon, so this is going to actually leave the route in a different direction that is not actually scenery in this DLC. People have made attempts to scenery this area and make scenarios for those areas. One of them is no longer available, but that's another story. We won't talk about that right now. But there are others out there, so you can possibly explore some of the areas this train might go in that workshop update if you find it. There are some out there, so go ahead and take a look. Anyway, well done, driver. You've arrived back at Guildford on time. Good work. I'm also waiting for a project that's actually covering the Portsmouth direct line as well. I might actually do those as well, so we'll see. In the meantime, we have, that's the end of this scenario. Make sure you tune in for the next one. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I am Cyclo, and I will see you for the next video, which, if you're on my playlist, now 12 strong, video number 13 will be behind this one, and within a few days, and it will be starting in 3, 2, 1.